So hello, Nathan.
Hello, Jade.
Welcome to the Creator Confessionals booth.
Thank you.
We obviously know each other.
We do.
Because we've been linked in on the Briefcase app.
We've been linked in.
Is that the new
Is
hand
this the new
motion?
thing? Is this like our secret
Linked
handshake?
In.
We've been
Okay, we
linked
gotta do it
in.
together. Linked.
We've been linked.
Yeah. Okay.
Linked in.
So for people that don't know you, tell them who
Yes.
you are.
So my name is Nathan Jin Poekert. I am a chief marketing officer and a marketing consultant, and then I am also a creator.
Beautiful. And as someone who works both as a creator and on the brand side, what do you feel like are the key differences?
The key differences of being on the brand side and the creator is, well, as a creator, you know, it really is truly, and I think you can experience this yourself, it's almost like it is a refreshing outlet and a break in your day.
Yeah.
Because you also are a brand strategist and social strategist yourself. And I think that the mentality a lot of times with people like us is that, oh, all they must do all day is just like make content. It's like, and no, all I do all day is stare at tiny numbers and make decks.
Yes. And
It's
stare
like-
at my phone and my laptop.
It's like, exactly. So I think that's the biggest difference is that as a brand strategist, we are responsible basically for ensuring the optimization of creator economy projects, budget efficiencies, KPIs, return on ad spends, all those things. And as a creator, we are mostly yapping.
Yeah, literally. Quite literally yapping. It's interesting. Well, literally yapping right now.
Yeah.
But it's actually interesting because I do think there are a lot of marketers now who work on the brand side that are kind of like stepping into this new era as creators and influencers. They're calling it like the marketer to creator pipeline.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I feel like kind of makes sense if you're especially someone that works in the social space. But what do you think it is about being a creator and influencer that is attracting more marketers to go on that side?
I think it's just the acknowledgement that a personal brand actually can very, very much influence career opportunities for yourself. It is a slippery slope where, you know, you can also damage your career as well.
Yeah, 100%.
And we've all seen that happen on the Briefcase app, but also on TikTok as well.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think that if you are considering whether or not you need to, you know, be a creator, it really comes down to what opportunities do you feel like are not accessible to you that possibly having a more visible personal brand might be able to help guide that process a little bit more expeditiously.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting too, because I think even in my experience, I started off like as a social media manager.
Yeah.
So I want to say the last role I had, that was actually the first time I actually hired influencers and creators for the brand that I worked for.
Yeah.
And when I started working with them and I started seeing their contracts, I was like, this is something that I think I want to consider.
Yeah. I mean, it is painful.
Yeah.
Like I came previously from one of the biggest retail brands in the world. Do you know how painful it is to sign your name on a $60,000 influencer contract and just be sitting there and being like, what am I doing with my life right now? Literally, what am I doing with my life that somebody's about to make $60,000 by putting on a pair of jeans and talking about how the high-waisted mom fit is the greatest thing that's ever happened? Exactly.
Yes, literally.
And so, but I mean, that didn't really incentivize me to do it. For me, it was more so, I call myself an accidental influencer.
Yeah, okay.
In that my pathway to being a creator on LinkedIn was, I honestly was stricken from being able to do media interviews and do speaking engagements. I was doing all this amazing work, but because of a corporate policy, I wasn't able to speak to the media, to my work, and I wasn't able to go on stage and talk about it. So I turned to LinkedIn to just be like, here are the things that we're doing. This is something awesome we just did, and here's what I learned, and here's what you could learn. And then I think people just really responded to the transparency aspect of that, and that's kind of how that following grew. And, you know, on TikTok, though, honestly, like, my accidental TikTok influence really just came from me, like, wanting to light my hair on fire with the election last year.
Yeah.
It's like,
understandably
it's like,
so.
yes, still continually wanting to light my hair on fire.
Stay tuned.
It's Time out. Like, but that. I'm just kidding.
Put it in. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that, like, again, you know, creator, influencer, I know there's like a polarizing conversation all the time about how like a lot of evangelists like have to say we have to separate the two.
Yeah.
I'm not in that spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
I am in the creators are influencers and influencers are creators.
Okay, let's double tap on that because I do see a lot of conversation in the industry where we do have to separate them. Like I often talk about how the difference between creators and influencers is the intention behind it.
Yes.
But I do think at the same time, you could literally wake up today and like some of your work is more influency and then the other side of your work could be more creatory, or it's a little combination of both. Do you feel like looking at, well, I guess like kind of hyper focusing on a difference between the two is limiting the industry?
Yes.
Okay.
And that is because we need content.
Yeah.
Every brand needs content.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the biggest crises that are impacting brand marketing today is a lack of content.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the lack stems from user-generated, creator-focused content.
Yeah.
And even when you have user-generated content, most of that content is being muddled by brand creative directors who don't understand exactly what is supposed to be happening,
Okay.
or media strategists who don't understand how to actually make a compelling media strategy that includes creator-driven content. So at its core, influencers, their job every day when they open up the camera is to try and get their audience to appreciate something that they're doing.
Yeah.
And to me, when you're talking about being a creator, it's the same thing. It's like, so rather than looking at, I think a lot of marketers look at what is the end result.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like,
fair.
which is, if you're an influencer, the end result is to impact a viewer's awareness, consideration, or acquisition of the product that you're presenting.
Yeah.
For a creator, it is more so to inspire the viewer to maybe think about something, to consider something, or to like just like
Make
what
a
you're
decision.
like what you're doing.
Yeah.
And to me, we look so much at the end result when we need to look at the top like initial touch point.
Yeah.
And to me, that makes influencer and creator not LinkedIn.
Like
LinkedIn. Yeah.
locked out LinkedIn. Yeah.
Because like to me, the future of the creator economy, and I'm gonna jump the gun and give a preview of my closing statement on the stage today.
Talk about
The future of the creator economy is ending this silly argument of influencer and creator, and it is actually engaging in influencer from a top and bottom perspective, meaning you're going to be at this conference and you're going to be hearing a lot of people talk about the fact that like you have to let the cooks cook.
Yeah.
You have to let the creators create. Okay.
Let them cook.
Yes. But if you are a brand and you are at this conference and you're hearing we have to let the creators cook.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you going to do when the CFO wants to know why none of the content is actually impacting bottom of the funnel sales?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I believe is it's a top to bottom approach, which is you engage with a creator or an influencer and you effectively say, we want you to cook. We want you to do what you do best with our product. We also need you to do a couple videos that are just for us that we will run as part of our media mix.
Yeah.
Because you are a recognizable face and you are influential in your own right.
Yeah.
It's like, and that will help us to be able to get the content we need to fuel our paid social mix. And you are also allowed then to do whatever you want.
Absolutely. I was just having a conversation with Yasmin, who is the influencer marketing manager at Fenty Beauty.
Yeah.
And she was talking about how when she looks at partnerships with influencers and creators, she's always thinking about, like, of course, longevity, but how do we diversify the content? And it's kind of what you alluded to.
Yeah.
It's not just saying, like, yes, okay, we're going to pay you for this one sponsored post on your Instagram, but we're going to also think about what are some ways for you to create some content that we live on TikTok, on LinkedIn or other channels, and then not just it be sponsored content, but think a little bit outside of the lens. Maybe we're creating a partnership that kind of lives off digital as well, which brings me to a question that I feel like a lot of people have been discussing about the idea of bringing the digital world or digital community building into the real world, so that URL to IRL. Why do you feel like it's so important for people to kind of have these like community spaces and like creator autonomy in real life in this moment.
Do you mean like not be trapped just in a digital?
Yeah, it's just not.
Oh man, we've gotten into philosophy and psychology.
let's get into it.
Let me sit up for this. Let me just sit up. From a human perspective,
Yeah.
I have friends who are influencers who have been influencers for like 10 plus years. They live in a different parallel universe than us and us too. I think if you were to look at like some don't look at macros, look at like, you know, your 80,000 to 300,000 core group, and look at like major cities like New York, Los Angeles, you know, Atlanta, you know, Dallas, like where a lot of the top heads are.
Yeah.
There's a reason why influencers tend to just be friends with other influencers. It's like there is this aspect of a detachment from reality, but it's also just because when your job is to promote yourself, you kind of lose a little bit of yourself in that process.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like, so, you know, I'm friends with a lot of people in that category, and, you know, they're mostly open all the time to like keeping themselves in check.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like the challenge is, and wow, we're really getting into like Oprah, like level like conversations right now.
Please.
The challenge is that like when you get for an influencer, when a majority of your affirmation and endorphin rush and validation comes from digital strangers, you deprioritize the validation that you have the people around you.
Yes, and yourself. Yeah.
It's like your identity becomes this.
100%.
It's like, and I have a conversation all the time with my husband, like, because of the TikTok thing.
Yeah.
It's like become something that I still just enjoy it. I'm sure like just like you enjoy making content.
100%.
It's like, but I've always kind of told him like, please tell me if this becomes something where I become like obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want that to be the case.
100%. It's good to have that self-awareness. 100%.
Yeah.
Because I think it's something like social media, especially that validation piece, is such a beast that can completely consume your life and you wouldn't even know. And you do kind of need that outside perspective to be like, okay, hold on. Got too much dip on you, Chip.
Yeah.
That's what I'd like to say.
It's the dark side of LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Actually.
Literally.
No, I'm serious. Because like, you know, there are people that I have worked with who are some of the smartest marketers that I've ever worked with. They post like 3 times a year on LinkedIn. It's like, but the industry is now like prioritizing who is the loudest, the most controversial,
100%,
and
most visible,
and who is just good at grabbing attention.
Yeah.
And that circles to round back to your original question. It is that aspect of like, it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Because you simultaneously can acknowledge the fact that LinkedIn is a very viable vehicle to not only career success, but also to monetary gain if you are an active creator on the platform. You know this, I know this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I will stand on a soapbox that my experience and my work is what makes me somebody who is credible in the industry. My yapping just makes me loud.
Yeah, and more visible.
Yeah, and more visible.
And I think that's a very valid point. This is something I love to ask people because I think when we're online, it's very easy to glamorize and see people through these like rose-colored glasses. And it's so funny because, you know, you want to build this like supportive community and you want people to love the work that you do, especially if it's something that you feel so passionate about. But sometimes I'm like, I'll see my comments and I'm like, you guys, I could be a liar. Like, I could be lying about everything I've ever said.
Yeah. It's like...
And no one checks you.
No, nobody does.
Yeah.
It's like, I've actually been doing... I do this thing now because as you know, like, nobody ever wins an argument in a LinkedIn comment section.
Definitely
There's no ever winning.
No.
It's like, so now I just use, whenever I see a post where it's like, this is reeking of you just made up all these numbers. It's like, which happens a lot in the influencer industry.
100%.
My favorite is still the continual, like actually my favorite we're probably rambling too much now.
No, that's
But like
okay.
my favorite still continually is that post where some person said, I spent $180,000 on an influencer and got $38 in sales.
Okay.
It's like, and then I remember commenting on it just because I'm me. I remember commenting on it. Why are you broadcasting how bad you are at your job?
No, but let's get into it because it's like there's this like idea that it's like the more you kind of over romanticize these numbers, it's like, look at what I'm doing. But it's like, does that actually work for you? Because I don't think any other professional that actually works in this industry would
nobody would
that
ever
makes sense.
actually say nobody would ever say that. First off, if I'm a client and I see my influencer agency person writing how much they spent, I'm like, hi, fire them because they're violating the non-disclosure agreement.
Literally,
it's like, but like, so now what I do is I just do the eye raise emoji. I just comment the eye raise emoji when, like, I saw somebody post like a couple weeks ago. Why are we freaking out about TikTok? YouTube is the same thing, and I just like commented. I just commented the eye raise emoji. Like,
that's your take.
Like what? I did kind of feel bad though because like my eye raise got more likes than her actual posting.
I know. So that happened to me as well. Someone posted, and they love to do this. And part of me, like the logical side of me knows that this is just lack of information on that field. But I saw a recruiter post about like a social media role, and they were like, we're looking for a social content specialist. And it was literally a social media manager. And I was like, so you're looking, no, it was a digital marketing manager.
Yeah.
And I was like, everything you just listed is social. Yeah. So I'm like, you're looking for a social media manager. And of course, that's not quite the visibility. And I was like, wait, guys, I'm not trying to like shit post.
That's the thing is that like, it's definitely, again, to sum this all up.
Yeah.
Okay. LinkedIn is the new frontier of the creator economy.
Yeah.
I truly believe this.
Same. Hello, Briefcase app.
Yeah. You can see B2C brands starting to explore, like, people were advertising cookies a couple weeks ago.
I did see that. Yeah. They reached out to me.
Yeah. It's like, I like cookies. It's like Sweet Lorenz, I love cookies. Yes. It's like, why didn't you reach out to me? But like, you can see all these things, but at the same time, it's a little bit the Facebook of social media in 100%. that like people will openly be racist. Yeah. People will openly be sexist.
100%.
People will openly support what appeared to be a very, very interesting hand gesture.
Yes.
It's like, yes. So like you have these things where you're like, oh, this is like really hard to navigate because 100%. You don't want to be canceled. Yeah. But you also kind of like know that this is a monetization and career opportunity for yourself. So like it just makes it difficult. Yeah. On a professional app.
Yeah, 100%. But at the same time, I kind of love to see that because it's like, granted, I don't think any of those people I would ever be in like the same like networks with, but you never really know. And I like to have that type of visibility, like, yes, I'm actually hear your thinking. Because for me, I personally don't want to work with anyone that's like going against my values and my belief system. But at the same time, it's like you don't always have that full transparency. And for a lot of people, it's like business is business no matter what you believe. So, it's hard to gauge.
It is really.
Yeah. Yeah. So before we wrap this up, is there anything that you feel like is a takeaway that you want creators or influencers to know, or literally anyone in the marketing industry?
I would love for creators and influencers to know that you can't fight the way that TikTok changed the way that audiences want to view content. So you need to adapt, or you're going to find yourself needing benefits that our current president is looking to take away. Mm-hmm. That's the T.
Absolutely. And also look for ways to own your audience outside of social.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I mean, you could see like the smartest creators are the ones that are launching podcasts, that are diversifying to YouTube, that are basically finding just different ways to engage their audience.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's the real tea here.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming, Nathan.
No, of course.
So glad you stopped by the booth.